Okay, so just another video about battery diagnostics, battery health with regards to Zoe's, and also with a slight twist. So this car has had a battery repair at Renault, and it actually has another fault, which is slightly unfortunate. But it's interesting because this car has only been road tested since the battery repair. So this car has a battery lease. It's been into Renault because it had a cell failure. I helped diagnose this car originally. One of the cells was clearly failed. The voltage was really low, well out of range. So it was a clear failure. So Renault repaired it, and this is effectively post repair. It's just been road tested, and they've obviously discovered another issue unrelated to the battery. So a little bit of architecture. So there's BMS here. And there's BMS safety. So what's that all about? So there's a BMS in the battery that's monitoring, voltages and temperatures and all that kind of stuff. And just as a double check, effectively, to make sure that certain safety things are exactly as they are, because obviously things can fail. That's kind of inevitable that there will be issues. Just as a double check, it also has like a separate ECU in the battery called the BMS safety. And that kind of is like an extra double check, and just make sure things are as they are, and if they agree, then it's all good. So if we go into the BMS, we'll have a look at the battery diagnostics, and then just see what's going on. I've had a little look in here already. It's kind of interesting. So the big question is, Renault have repaired the battery, so did they put a new one in? And they're not obliged to put a new one in. This is a 40 kilowatt hour car. This is a 67 plate, so 2016 car. Did they put a brand new battery in? Well, I can tell you the answer is no. They've done a battery repair, and when we look through the data, it's quite obvious to see what's happened. First of all, I'm just going to whiz down to see what the health is. So Renault have to maintain this battery at 75%, higher than 75% health. So traction battery condition 84%. Okay, so we know it's definitely not a brand new one. But 84 is pretty good, and this car's done just under 82,500 miles, and we can see there the 132,000 kilometers, 28,000 kilowatt hours. You can actually work out the lifetime miles per kilowatt hour from that if you so choose. It's currently 79.7% charged. So one of the interesting things to look at is this lowest and highest cell charge. So on that, there's nearly 3%, so 2.9%, between those numbers, which is kind of a little bit high, but not unknown on Zoe's. There's usually a couple of percent between those. So all good. So let's have a little whiz through the battery voltages, because this is where it gets kind of interesting. So we know Renault have repaired this battery, but it's not a new one. So we've got 96 cells. They're actually pairs of cells in this car. So it's 96S2P. So there's 96 pairs of batteries, and those are the positive and negative are together. So they're sort of acting as one higher capacity battery, those pairs, and then all those pairs are wired positive to negative, and a big long series string to give you your high voltage. And they are put in modules, and then those modules are connected together. But logically speaking, there's 96 pairs, and all those pairs are connected one to the next to the next. So if we just look down these, so we've got 3.94. It's obviously in millivolts, but 3.94. Just wait for that to update. 3.94. Okay, so looks quite closely balanced. 3.94. All looking good so far. It's going to get interesting, trust me. Okay, it switches to some temperatures. 3.94, so this is pretty good. And then, okay, and this is where it gets interesting. So we've gone from 3.94 to 3.92. And then this is consistent for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 there, and then back to 3.94. So what we can basically tell from this is a couple of things. So Renault have put a module in this battery. They've replaced the module. So when they have put the module in the car, the voltage of that module is just a tiny bit lower. So we're talking about 20 millivolts there, aren't we? 0.02. which is not an issue. Be nice to see it a little bit closer. I'll try and get them a little bit closer when I do them, but it's okay. Ideally, when you replace cells or modules, you actually make them slightly higher, if anything, than the rest. Firstly, because when you take the battery off charge, the voltage dips. So if you get it charged to the same, then it's going to dip and then it's going to vary. So, just showing the door. So ideally, you get it higher, because then when it drops, the voltage when you take it off charge, it drops to be about the same. But also, the car will balance by using bleed resistors and reducing the voltage of cells or whatever that are higher, one or more cells that are higher. So if you've put in a cell or a module into a car, you balance it a little bit higher, and then the car can bring that down as required, rather than having to bleed down the whole rest of the pack to match the one that you've put in that's too low, if that makes sense. So yeah, so this is quite interesting. So we can go through the rest of them. So we get back to 3.94, 3.94, 3.94, 3.94, 3.94, 3.94, and 3.94 up to the top. And it's interesting that it's 8 cells. If we just whiz back to the one that's been replaced, yeah, there we are. So it starts there, doesn't it, at 33. So there's 8 of them, and it starts at 33. So it doesn't take a maths genius to work out that within this car there are modules of 8, and they have replaced that module starting at cell 33 there. So that'll be the 5th modular along, won't it? 81632, yeah. So sort of module 5 has been replaced, and that's on 3.9 sort of 2 or 3.93. They move around a little bit. Yeah, and then when you obviously get to the end of those 8, it starts on another module. So sort of module 6 has obviously not been replaced. So there we go. Yeah, quite interesting really. Just a little bit of info about the battery there. So if you have a battery lease Zoe and it does have a cell failure, Renault will repair it. They can be a little bit funny if you've just got like a range issue or something. They debate whether it's software, or sometimes they ask you to pay for the software updates, which is interesting, because under the lease, the owner is responsible for vehicle maintenance, and software is classed as vehicle maintenance, which is interesting. Yeah, if you've got a clear issue, like a clear cell failure, that, you know, I think it was something like 0.9 volts, and these batteries basically go between about sort of 3.3 and 4.1, something like that, within that range. I mean, yeah, below 3 volts is way out, and it was literally like 0.9 when we looked at it before. So, and then it went to Renault, so that was completely undeniable. But yeah, hope that's interesting, really. So there you go. Yeah, any questions, just let me know. All right, cool. Cheers.